And welcome to Romantasy Readers Podcast. My name is Nicole and I am joined by one of our sensational co-hosts, Kitty. Ali would love to be with us today, but unfortunately she is jet setting for work in Brazil. She is a massive high flyer, so we don't have her here today, but we are here today to talk to you about massive book that's out at the moment. It's definitely a little controversial as well, so there's a lot we're going to dig into with that, but we're going to be talking about Silver Elite by Dani Francis. So welcome, Kitty. How are you? And how did you go reading this book?
Well, I think we have slightly different looks on it, which is fine. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to have different reads on it. I read the book. I did enjoy it. I loved it, but I think it was a really fun vibe. It's not something that I went, holy crap, I need to read this again.
Yeah.
But not every book needs to be like that, and I need to remember that.
Yeah.
I do, there is certain elements of it that I was like, what is going on here? Yeah, this is awesome. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the book, but there was parts that I went, why did that happen?
It was a fun book. It wasn't a great book is the feel that I get. Yeah. And it's super interesting, right? Because I read this. I actually listened to this book. I did the audiobook and it was a really good audiobook. And I feel like my opinion on it has been quite different to people who read it. Like you read it, didn't you? And our friend Trace, she also read it. And they were both like, yeah, it's good, but it wasn't great. Whereas I definitely know what genre it sits in. This is a high action, high spice romance. Don't think too hard, leave your brain at the door, just have a really good time. But the audio was so good. I just visually got this great picture of what was going on. And it was very interesting. I'd be really interested to hear from someone that has done the audiobook and read it to say whether one was significantly different to the other.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. But some books are better in, audio than they are in reading it. Like Lights Out.
Yeah.
It's amazing to actually read, but when you listen to the audio, Josh just comes
to life.
Oh my God. Even Ellie, their banter is heaps better. So that's possibly what's happened with you.
Yeah.
It's a great book, but
yeah. Same thing. I have not actually read Lights Out. I've only done the audiobook and it was fabulous. Because I heard amazing audiobook, dual narration. I was like, I am here for this. And it was delivered so well. And I feel like that's the same thing with this. I think the lines are delivered exactly how they're meant to be delivered, and it all comes together and makes so much sense and absolutely gives the feeling of the world that you're in and the banter between the characters and things like that. So I feel like that went really, really well. So I guess a bit of a background and a very, very basic overview of Silver Elite for anyone that has read it recently and then been like, what the fuck happens again? It was 2 weeks ago and I can't remember what happened. I mean, so basically we've got Ren, the main character. She's living on her farm, her ranch, and then she's actually secretly, she's got mind powers. She's got all these various mind powers that she can do, and we're in a world where they are basically illegal. And then her uncle, who cares for her and has been training her very, very vigorously in her powers, as well as fighting and combat and everything else, he gets caught and he actually gets put to death. And then she gets all caught up with this commander or whatever of Silver Elite, which is Cross, who is very bad boy, very tall, dark, tats, rides a motorbike. We're in a world that's very dystopian, but there's also there's helicopters, motorbikes. There's a lot of talk about everything that's made in a lab versus real life. So there's the synth whiskey versus the real stuff, which is super, super expensive, and they all go based on credits, obviously controlled by this this general that kind of rules it all, very sort of very kind of Hunger Gamesy. To me, that part felt kind of Hunger Gamesy, but we've also got the army aspect. Obviously, eventually that enemies to lovers kicks in. He's actually the son of the general, so she doesn't like him, but over time she softens. Then spice ensures, drama, we're introduced to some new characters, and we have major shocks at the end with surprises that happen, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. But that is just your very basic introduction to Silver Elite. So one of the big things that everyone is talking about, one of the reasons that this book has a lot of controversy, I guess, is trying to figure out who the author is, Dani Francis.
Massive controversy over who
Yes,
this is.
yes. So what have you heard? What have you?
So we did at one point think it was like
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, and obviously with all of the hype after the 10 years and how that all fell apart, and then the theories that we've got behind why.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we thought she was going this way instead and wanted to get this out because there was that at the front of the book that said I couldn't keep this story in. I think it's a male because I personally found the spice a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
And females tend to write like very emotional, very in depth when it comes to those sorts of things. It's all in the mind. It's all in the love of it. And I didn't feel that when it came to them. I kind of felt like it was, okay, cool. Now we're having sex.
Yeah.
And it was just a bit like.
It was almost like someone who had read our spice from the female perspective and gone, yeah, okay, I can do this. And they just kind of did it. It was a bit. I know exactly what you mean. It was there, but it wasn't like, oh, wow, this feels next level. Especially when you're thinking, wow, she's actually hooking up with Wolf. This should be huge. This is the epic end love interest, which is why I've got so many theories about whether he is actually the love interest. Because either it's been written not that well or there's so much more going on to the story. And there's actually maybe a whole nother love interest that we're going to insert left in the future.
I agree. I think it is either one or the other.
Yeah.
And possibly because we haven't met her actual lover, just like, I don't know if Wolf is someone different or if it is someone that we're going to meet soon.
Yeah.
Maybe he is Wolf and it's just not cut the mustard.
Yeah, yeah. It's very bizarre. But going back to writers, like I think I definitely first thought Sarah J. Maas was a huge contender, mainly because it dropped on like the 5th of May, right on that, or maybe it was the 6th of May. It was right on that 10-year anniversary, which was very suspicious, interesting. Certainly the word skitters is used a lot, which is a very Sarah J. Maas word. Not that other people could obviously use it as well. But it's not like her writing at all otherwise. It's very, very light in comparison, unless this is her lazy writing where she was just like, oh, I'm just writing this for myself and I'm just going to put it together. But if it was her, I would expect the next book to massively level up. I would be I would absolutely expect a different romance to kick in because that is so her. I know Sarah really describes a lot of things a lot, and I think a lot of people have said one of the challenges with this writing is that there's a lack of description. So a lot of people have questioned whether this writer is actually primarily just a romance writer or a dark romance writer, and they're just switching over to romantasy. But a lot of people are like, why would you use a pen name, especially if you're already a successful author? Like that just seems like a really weird thing to do. It would make so much more sense to use the power of your name. You can obviously get so much more sales and things like that. Why would you change it? Which would obviously like lean into it being a male and then thinking
they haven't done this.
not going to get as much success if you're a male writer. We really want to give it from so it appears female. Obviously that's where Sarah made sense because she maybe doesn't want to talk about it. Rebecca Yarros would be another one that maybe doesn't want it to be compared to Fourth Wing.
I feel like it's too similar to Fourth Wing to really be her though. Like, would you really do it? Like, maybe it's one of her kids. And maybe they're giving it a crack. Or a husband.
I know, exactly. The biggest giveaway. So one of the bookstores in Canada confirmed that it's Canadian. So we're pretty confident that it's a Canadian writer. And also, I don't know much because we're Aussies. We don't notice these things. But some of the words that are used in it, Americans have confirmed that they're more of a Canadian kind of, I think like she uses torch instead of, what do they call it? Flashlight. Like that's something
we call it torch.
Yeah, but that's a Canadian thing, whereas US would say flashlight. So they have said it does appear to be a Canadian that has written it. I know. We don't click on this stuff. We're like, what? That's what we call it. Like, what's wrong with that? So yeah, we're most likely looking at a Canadian writer. Some people have pointed to Danielle Jensen. Now, that was definitely someone that I'd strongly considered. Mind you, her real writing is profoundly different. And she also jumped on one of my posts and said, it's not me. Mind you, Dani Francis does follow Danielle. I mean, is that her trying to get us off the scent, so to say? Because it's also is Del Rey, who she signed with. And yeah, I mean, she said no, but I'm not going to 100% rule Danielle out because Dani, bit close, you know?
Do you have a top contender? Like, is there someone you're really
Well,
leaning towards?
someone did a lot of research into like who is the like I don't know who's signed by them, all this in underground stuff, and they think it's Elsie Silver, who I haven't read, but she does all the cowboy romances and stuff, which would obviously this has a lot of kind of cowboy aspects, the ranch and all the horse riding and all that sort of thing. So you can see those elements coming in. And apparently she's also has done an army romance book as well. So she's I haven't read her books to kind of confirm if it's similar or not. Definitely a really strong contender is Elsie Silver. So
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Fair
Have
enough.
you got? Who do you think?
Nah, I've got no clue. Honestly, the people that have given me the biggest clues is the girls that we chat with.
Yeah.
And your theories, basically.
Yeah.
I haven't looked that far into it. I just believe it's a male. And it's purely because...
Is it Pierce Brown or who's the guy that does Red Rising or something, someone like that? Or
I haven't even read
No,
romantasies or anything like that. Even fantasies from any male authors. I haven't done that
It's
yet.
something I want to do. I tried to go into a Brandon Sanderson one, but it wasn't. I don't think it was. Is it Mistborn? I didn't read that one. But I actually tried to do the audiobook and it was so big and huge. And you know what? When that romance isn't there, I quickly lose interest. I'm really sorry, but I do. It's when I don't have that in comes hot MMC. I'm like,
Yeah, fair enough. I bought a Keanu Reeves one thinking, oh my God, it's like John Wick in a book. And he wrote it with a New York guy that does a lot of comics and everything. I bought it from my husband and I was like, I'm going to read that. I still haven't picked it up.
No. There's just always a better option. There's always and you just can't. I feel like every time I get close to my TBR, the books that I've been saying, I'm going to read that, I'm going to read that. And I want to read them. It's not like I'm here going, I don't want to read it. I do want to read it. But then something amazing comes along and I'm like, okay, this is a priority. I have to read this first. And then the rest is history. So, okay. Is Silver Elite a good book? What do you think? Or is it not a good book?
Yes, I find it to be a good book, but would I read it again? Nah. I thought it was
so interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a place filler. I think there is some good theories in it, and I think when we've spoken about it, there's a lot to it. But if I did a yes, no, maybe, it would be a maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But for anyone that wants a break in their reading style, you're hard in the romantasy or you go dark romance and you just feel like you need to have that in-between book, it's amazing to do that because it pulls you out of it a little bit with the dystopian sort of feel to it and the whole war thing and all that sort of stuff. And I like that it's got powers in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great too. That was a different element to it without it being I'm a fae and I have water and I can, do all that sort of stuff, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's a good book.
Well, I see it's so interesting because for me, as I said, I did the audiobook and I found it a raging good time. I loved it. I just really enjoyed it. It was just fun. I was just instantly swept into this world, caught up from from within 5 minutes. I was totally into what was happening in the story. Really, really liked it. And just I was just really enjoying it to the point that once I finished it, I went back and did it again. I've just finishing up now my second listen to it, but I have not actually picked up physically the book is here, right, guys? There it is right there. I've not actually picked up this book. It's just here as a trophy. I actually like it on audio and I'm be very interested for you to listen to the audio and see if it makes a difference. Because one thing that we what behind the scenes, we'll sometimes share things with each other. And I shared with you, there was a little when they make those movie clips.
God.
Okay, it's AI. I know that's super bad. I know. but it also showed like the whole thing like a movie clip, and I was just like, oh, that looks so good, and then I had to share it, and then
It was amazing, and like we turned around and I just went, oh my God, like I need to read this again. That is amazing. That is something I want to watch.
Yeah.
I want to see that. They better fucking make it. Like
once
I was
you
so drawn
once
to that.
you visually see it, it makes a difference. And I think that's where I think the audiobook gives you more of a visual, obviously, you know, because it actually sort of sets the scene more.
Yeah.
Whereas I imagine if you just read it, it doesn't actually set that scene as much. But by actually visually seeing it, you're like, okay, I am so into this now and I can get behind this.
Yeah, it was truly amazing, that clip. I was just so taken aback by it. I was like, oh my God, okay, they have to make this a series. It's got to go this way. What the hell is going on? And the fight scenes between, it was a bit like, you know, fighting on the mat, but it was like next level because Ren?
Yeah, Ren.
Yeah, Ren is just such a fierce fighter, shooter. Like she's a survivalist. She has the skills, which is why I like her, because she's not a female in FMC going into it like
meek and mild. Yeah, what did
I
you
hurt.
think? Yeah,
I've got a bung knee, like, which I get. I get all of that because it's coming through with somebody. Yeah, it's coming through with somebody that has those ailments. Totally understand that. Feyre has to learn about her powers and get no.
Learn how to write.
Yeah, exactly. But Ren comes into it. She's like, I'm going to fuck shit up. I'm not going to show them who I am. I'm going to go behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden she's like,
if anything, the frustration with Ren is that she's like, oh, I can do everything, but I'm not going to. I'm going to intentionally fail because I don't want to like stand out, and I don't know if actually I don't want them to kick me out. So she's like intentionally failing everything. And I could handle that for a little while, but it was starting to drive me nuts after like a couple of chapters. I was like, okay, come on. I want you to start like showing what you can really do. She does finally get there, but it does take a little bit. I'm like, come on, Ren. Come on. I want to see like full.
Exactly. So she's great. She is really great. But yeah, it was, as you said, AI is a bit on the fence.
We don't endorse it. We don't, but sometimes you see it and it sometimes does excite you with a story, like, or, you know, or it could just be general art and things as well. Sometimes by visually seeing it, it really adds another layer to it. And I would love to see it made into a movie. I feel like
it's on the feed. We accidentally see it.
I know.
Like it's there.
Oh no. We will not be sharing it. No. Okay. So I mean, I think you actually said this earlier. I think you said that you felt like this is a bit of a guilty pleasure read. Like this is
totally. And I honestly do think that like it is a really good, it's a guilty pleasure read. That's exactly what it is. It's kind of in between. It's not, you don't get fully like, well, I didn't get intensely grabbed by it, but yeah, I had a lot of fun reading it. It was great. It was an escape. It was great still. But for me to say, was it I ended up saying it was a good book. Yeah. So it was definitely.
Yeah. It was, I agree. I feel like it was a very guilty pleasure. Like for me, it was just like a Michael Bay film. It was like if you know,
that is such a good description.
You know what you're getting into. Like you go and watch Transformers, you know it's just fighting, robots, alien robots, whatever, and hot guys and girls, explosions. Like it's not a literary masterpiece. It's not like it, you know, you're not going in and watching something high level. You're just going in for a good time. And that's what this was to me. Yes, it doesn't go overly deep. I'm very curious whether it will get deeper in the next book. As I say, a lot of that, and we'll probably talk about this later, about have we already gone all the way and it'll just kind of continue like this, or are we going to level up in the next book? Because the next book going to be all about leveling up. But what was very interesting was because I read these two books. I'm going to grab the other one here. I read these side by side. So I read Shield of Sparrows. Let's get it the right way around. I read Silver Elite first, and then I read Shield of Sparrows. And they're so profoundly different, right? Like they could not be more different. But they're very interesting. Like they're both so like this one, like Shield of Sparrows has such an epic story, more typical romantasy, ACOTAR, but also crossed with The Witcher, like monsters and things like that. So it just leveled up in the the story that it gives, whereas Silver Elite was just hot, fiery action, romance, steamy spice, hot MMC, banter. Actually, kind of banter, but
Yeah,
kind of not.
It wasn't huge.
No, because I've just been doing my re-listen, right? And I've seriously reached out to Kitty so much because I was really taken aback. I think the first time I listened to it, I filled in gaps. Like I would, she'd meet Cross and I wasn't paying attention to the fact that it was just pure lust. It was just always just straight into, you're so hot, want to bang you. Like they'd just be just all, there was nothing about their personalities or anything. They were really just, it was always sex fueled, always, until he becomes Wolf. Before that, like one particular moment, like one of my biggest theories right now is that Cross is not actually Endgame. I theorize that actually Kane is Endgame, which is very, very unhinged. Okay, very unhinged. But hear me out. Kane consoles her so much in this book. Like when she has to go through, when she has to kill, when Batima dies, he's the one that consoles her. When she has to kill Bryce, it's Kane that consoles her, and he doesn't want to leave her. Like he's there, he doesn't want to leave her. Cross just comes in and he's basically just like, well, come on, man up. Like, man up. You just have to kill people. That's just fine. And the next thing he comes into her, just after she has killed Bryce, she's like had a 2-hour shower, sobbing in the shower. He just comes in and just initiates sex. Like, that's all he does. He doesn't like, oh, are you okay? Like, I know that was really tough on you. Like, now that we're just together, just the two of us, let's talk about it. No, he just fucks her. Like, that was just, I don't know. Did you pick up on that at all? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I did. Like it wasn't supportive. Like she's not okay, and he kind of did, took advantage of the situation, definitely. Whereas Kane, when she kissed him in his bed, after that, he stopped and said, "Not like this.
Yeah.
This shouldn't happen like this." So he's emotionally, it seems, more invested in her. And yes, he's her friend, but then we learn he's actually part of the rebellion.
I know,
so he could have
hotshot
been
pilot.
like, "Fuck off!" Like, yeah, I'll screw you right
now.
now.
We literally have an example of the two and how they dealt with it, where like when she was really upset because Batima had died, Kane stops it and says, "Not right now. Like you are emotionally upset. This is not the right time. I want this, but not like this." Compared to just kills Bryce, like Cross comes in and has sex with her. Like literally just takes the opportunity and is like, I don't care. Now, yes, they soften and he softens once he becomes Wolf. Like that was one of the things that really threw me though, because I was like, his personality changes so much once he becomes Wolf, and all of a sudden he's all lovey-dovey and he's like, I love you so much and everything, and that's great. But I was like, he wasn't acting like that before that. And that kind of confused me a little bit, whereas Kane was kind of consistent the whole way through until he, potentially died and then he disappeared.
That was so wild. I didn't expect him to come back. Did you expect him to come
100%.
Yeah.
I was like, nah,
only
because I had already predicted that he was the hotshot pilot. I was already so sure of that. And so I was like, nah, he's not dead. Nah, I refuse to accept it. He's too important to the story.
Nah, I was just like, oh, Kane. That's really shit. And then I was upset for Xavier.
Yeah.
Because he lost his partner too. And I was like, oh, Kane bloody did it all.
We don't even know if they're all dead. Like, we are assuming that everyone...
Are they all in the rebellion?
Well, maybe they're not all in the rebellion, but Kane might have brought them out and, like, arrested them or something. Like, he might have allowed them all to survive. That's one of my theories, that, like, none of them died.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Well, the rebellion's bad. We learned that. Well, No, the mum and dad were traitors.
Yes. I'm sure there's bad on both sides. Yeah. I think we can feel like there is bad on both sides.
Yeah, they're both lying.
Yeah.
As everything happens in war. Everyone lies.
Yeah. But I really feel like Kane is potentially the real love interest. I think I was really paying attention to how she reacted after he died. And then she did talk about how she really felt this empty space of the person that she always leaned on, the person that she always went to about things. He was definitely filling an emotional void for her. Now, yes, Cross theoretically fills that, like later on in the book for sure, particularly once he's now Wolf. But I'm just still going to watch this space because, look, as I said, it's either not great writing or it's like, or there's more to this, and we're going to be further delving into this in the next book. Certainly next book, we're looking at she's going to be with like Kane full time, all the time, no cross in sight. Is that going to change things? Of course, she's going to be able to speak mind to mind to Cross, so they're going to be able to stay connected that way. But I think a really interesting thing to talk about, something that she spoke about at the beginning of the book, because she talks about how she hadn't revealed so much of herself to Wolf, that she was so careful to not talk about her real life. He knew her really well, but he also knew nothing about her. And I think that's the same thing in reverse for her knowing Cross or Wolf. Like, she knows him, but she doesn't know him at the same time. Yeah. So are we going to find out, is he more involved in different ways? I think there's even the questions about why did he do what he did? Like, why did he decide to bring her into the Silver Elite program? Why was he refusing to kick her out? Why was he so fascinated with her, apart from it just being sexually fueled and all those reasons? Like, I feel, I don't know, it would have made more sense to me if he had actually been wondering if she was Daisy. That would have actually made all that make a lot more sense. But of course he didn't. She was the one that sussed that out. So I don't know. Have you had any thoughts on that? Does that?
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was weird. Like, he kind of knew, like, he was the one that saw her shoot and knew that she could do that and all that sort of. It was weird.
Yeah,
it was weird. And once, they killed her uncle and, she tried to manipulate all of them, he kind of knew all of that too. So it's just like, why are you saving her? Why are you putting her through all of this?
Yeah.
She would turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how powerful she is.
Exactly. It was very, I don't know, just trying to understand his motives around it. It was just sort of strange. I mean, I know maybe he thought that she was a mod and he was trying to get more information, but it also seemed like they were reasonably convinced that she wasn't a mod, because obviously she didn't have the light up veins and all that sort of thing. I had this totally unhinged theory last night, guys, which ended up falling apart so massively, because I'm listening to it and I'm around chapter 45 and re-listening to the moment where she figures out that Cross is Wolf and how that goes about. And what's really interesting about it is she just starts just like blabbing all this information to him. Like, he barely says anything and she just starts being like, oh my gosh, I'm Daisy. My favorite flowers are daisies. And this has happened, this and not. Oh, I'm actually Aberrant, but my veins don't light up. And she's just like divulging all this information to him. And all I was thinking was, what if he's not Wolf? Like, what if he was just being a really smart Silver Elite, like captain, and he's just like going along with it, realizing that now you're revealing all this information. But just as I was about to like get ready to post an Instagram reel about it, I literally got to the next bit and he starts speaking to her mind to mind, and I was like, okay, shut up, Nick. Okay, you were wrong. Like, admit when you're wrong. Wrong theory.
And you literally sent me like voice memo after voice memo and then there was a break, and then you're like, ignore it.
Can I go back and delete all my previous messages, please? That's all right. It would have been a really interesting twist, though. Super interesting twist if he'd been pretending to be Cross. Wolf. Yeah, that would have been very interesting. Okay, let's get into the different kind of mods that we get in Silver Elite, because in Silver Elite, there's all these mind powers that people have, and they are illegal. You're not allowed to have them. If you have them, you basically get killed or sent off to the mines. Very small amount are made as slaves, and there are a few that actually work on the side of the uprising or whatever they're called. So we have telepathy, precog, empath, they're called aberrants. We've got insight, which is the big one that she can't talk about. She's like,
mind control, is that the one?
No, mind control. I think there's mind. She can basically actually tell people to do things and they'll actually do it.
Yeah, so control. Control.
Yeah. And then we find out later about Adrian and this rare kind of power where they can basically scramble people's brains and break them, which isn't really that well known. There's also healing. I think that's most of them. Yeah. And if there may, of course, be more that we find out in future books. But
you would think so.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on the different kind of powers that the mods have?
No, not really. I'm very interested in why her veins don't appear.
Yes.
Also very interested in Cross's mum.
Mm-hmm.
That is like that with the powers and all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm interested in. I thought the powers were great. I loved them.
Yep,
They were fun.
yep.
They were good. I don't really have much kind of info on them though, or what I think on them, but they were fun. I liked them.
Yeah, it was a
They
really
were
good.
and I liked that people could have more than one. I didn't like the fact that they then had like slave camps basically.
Yeah.
But I liked it in the book.
Yeah.
Like it was good, but I felt so sorry for them. I was like, oh my God, just because you have powers. And I was like,
yeah, because they actually used to be in control. My understanding was that all the people with powers actually used to control everything, and the what are they called? Primes. I think just the everyday people. They were almost not quite slaves, but they were the lower class. And then they did an uprising, and they succeeded, and they basically wiped out majority of the mods to like take control and power. But I do have listening to it at the same time, I've developed a bit of a theory about, I think, how the mods have come to be, what has created them. So there is a scene where Cross takes her to this like underground cave, and they see all this daggerstone and these flowers that grow around the daggerstone. Now the daggerstone is white, except for a very, very rare one that she's seen that is blue. It's like a cobalt blue. Anyway, my unhinged theory about this is that I think that there was a reason that we were introduced to Daggerstone. I'm having a belief now. This was like Daggerstone it came about after the end of the world, whatever occurred. And I'm believing actually that maybe the everyday mods, the mods that light up and everything, they have somehow been created with that white daggerstone, or the flowers that grow around the white daggerstone. And the dark blue cobalt one is the one that Ren has been made with, that anyone that doesn't have the light up powers, they've been with the dark blue one.
So like a powered up one. So they got like special powers.
Yeah, they've got the special one. I don't know. That is it got introduced in it, and I was like, oh, is there a reason we're just finding out about all this additional information about these flowers that we don't really, and this daggerstone that we don't really know much about? I feel like that was a little Easter egg that was left there.
That's good.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm proud of that one. So tell us, so I guess we spoke a little bit about Ren already, but let's talk about Cross. What are your thoughts on our MMC, our hot, tattooed, tall, dark, handsome Cross?
I really liked him at the start. I was like, yes, this is the kind of MMC that we like. Like, yeah, tall, dark, broody, tats, good looking, commander, all that sort of stuff. I was really, really like, yeah, I can't wait to see this unfold. And then I was like, oh, okay. That's all right. And I was kind of hoping that he was Wolf.
Yeah.
And then I had different thoughts about that. And I was like, oh, well, that was too easy. Like,
yeah.
And then I was like, okay, fine. He's super hot. Love him.
Yeah.
But just by the end of it was like, oh, okay, he was a character.
Yeah. He was kind of two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Would you say he was a little bit two-dimensional? Like he was all the things we love, all the makeup of hot, broody, tats, rides a motorbike, like, obviously you sort of position of power. Like he had that big, and then he becomes Wolf, and obviously that levels him up a lot. But he wasn't like, yeah, he was good in bed. Like, I guess the motorcycle chase was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I guess compared to some of the books we've read where there is a lot of banter between characters, this was more just like, I'm in control of you and you need to do this and you just need to do it. And mainly it was just that he would like, I guess, stand against her, like when she'd be trying to fail at everything, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm not buying that. You're not getting kicked out. Like that was the only time. That was the only way there was banter.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Kane was totally different.
Yeah.
He added more. He was funny.
He
supported her.
And even so often while I'm doing it, she often says, Kane, like while he's this like best friend and he's like very interested in me, he's also so committed to the program. Like he's so focused on his program and completing it, and he's been really, really focused. And she even says things like, oh, have you seen how much Kane is studying? He's looking at all the maps. He's always obsessing over the maps and learning. And it's like, oh, that's, when I read it the second time, that was just like alarm bells. I'm like, of course he is, because he's like retaining all this information for the rebels.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't see that. And then when the maps came, I'm like, you fucking idiot. How did you not see that?
Yeah. So that was very interesting, but I agree. I feel like, and that's why, as unhinged as it is, and I'm like, why would they choose a blonde MMC? Like that, just a blonde, non-tatted MMC.
The only one we have is Rowan from Friend of Glass.
No, and he was silver. That's
silver.
different.
Okay,
like, that's Faye Silver. Faye Silver is not blonde.
Okay, that's the closest to blonde.
Yeah,
yeah. Everyone else is like dark, tall. Like we all go, oh,
I know,
you're lovely.
Only Once Upon a Broken Heart, Jack's in that, which you haven't read. Yeah. He's blonde. And I can 100% forgive him for it. Like, it's my only one that I'm like, yep, he's a blonde, and I loved him. Absolutely loved him. And that's because he's so unhinged. Like, he's such an unhinged character. But I love Kane. He's so funny, and I just think he's going to be 100%. Like, now he's going to have Ren all to himself. He's going to be on like Donkey Kong. He's going to be a very different character. I guarantee we're going to get a hot helicopter flight. Like, we've got to have.
Yeah, okay.
I feel he's going to like take her on a helicopter. He's going to be doing flips and all sorts of things, shooting stuff down.
I don't know. Like,
I know you're not on board with it. That's okay.
I like Kane. I really do. I think it's either him or Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cross is kind of going to be, out. I think Wolf is like, I think he's going to do something that's really going to fucking upset Ren.
Yeah,
like, I'm just waiting for that, and then she's going to be like, "How dare you?"
They've said I love you too quickly. Like, they've already said I love you. I'm like, I feel like that is got tragedy written all over it when that's done in the first book of a trilogy. I'm like, you guys
it's too quick. Exactly. So I think there's something going on with Xavier as well, because he's gone off to the rebel camp as well.
Yeah.
Maybe things will happen with Kane for sure. She was already attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
She tried,
but then she got all caught up in the like
Cross Wolf thing.
Yeah, Cross,
definitely. But something's going on with Xavier. I don't know what it is, but I feel like something's happening.
Well, they are wandering through the dark lands at the moment, where I'm up to together. Saved him from quicksand. Like, so, and he keeps touching stuff and driving nuts. Because the only thing about Kane, like, they're doing all their tests and they basically get put together because they're so similar. Like, they actually say, we keep getting put together because we said the exact same weaknesses. Like, that they're impulsive.
In the tests and stuff. That is right. Yeah, exactly.
So, normally it's opposites attract. That's what normally they'll explore. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But so you're also of the agreement that there's going to be potentially a love triangle, but you feel like it's more likely going to be Xavier, or potentially a whole new character. Then it's going to be.
Yeah, I feel like Cross Wolf is going to do something.
Yeah,
and it's going to piss everyone off, and then the love triangle is going to develop, and then. Gone. Yeah. We're going to get a slow burn again, and we're going to do this because we really didn't get much of a lead up.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, Cross is hot. And he kept going, I can't be involved with my, what do they call it, subordinates?
Yeah, subordinates.
Like, it's just, nah. And then all of a sudden, he's holding a dagger to her throat going, how do you know about that dream? And all of a sudden, we're in love. And it's like, this was way too easy. Way too easy.
Yeah.
We're all like, at that point, I really hope he is. And then I was like,
Yeah, I was fully expecting a twist. I thought it was going to be Travis.
Yes, I thought it was going to be Travis.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because the painting in the
exactly. Yep. I was really convinced that we were going to get like she was going to be like, oh my god, I think it's you, and then it was going to be like, oh, psych.
And we hated Travis too.
Exactly. That would have been a real enemies to lovers.
Yeah,
like a real which
we would have been like, oh, that's a fucking bummer for you. So sorry about that. You're in love with Travis.
We're so unhinged. This is so. But yeah, I personally felt kind of disappointed when it was Cross. I just thought it was too obvious and it wasn't going to go anywhere. And it's like, how is this going to make this story interesting? It's just too straightforward. And not only that, but I felt like at no point actually throughout the story, apart from us just being romantasy readers and instantly going, oh, maybe Cross is Wolf, did I actually see any indications that there were hints of Cross being Wolf. I didn't have any moments where it's like, oh, that's something Wolf would say. Or like, or I don't know, anything that would have kind of made her go, because really, if that's the same person, even though they're talking about different things, their voices might not sound the same, but they should be saying the same kind of things or having the same kind of connotations to their paragraphs or words or whatever.
Why did they go months not talking to each other as well?
Well, I think he was starting to obviously fall for her in real life. So he was starting to go, well, I don't want to reach out to.
That was previous. She'd be in a situation. She's like, oh, that voice in my head that I recognize, that I like, that I love, and da 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 da. I'll talk to him. But it'd been ages between when they would talk, and then he's having sex with girls. You know, she walks in on that, and it's like, wait, how much do you love the other person? I don't get. He needs to, you know, have his needs met and all that sort of stuff. But I was like, how much do you love Daisy? And like, why did you go so long not talking to her? Like, if you're in love with someone, would you not like try and talk to them as much as you could?
This was a massive issue I had with Cross. In most romantasy books, now obviously you don't have to follow these rules, but normally the MMC is not hooking up with anyone else. And we certainly don't see it from their perspective. They don't walk in on them hooking up with someone else. They might have done it in the past. They might be, but yeah. But anyway, she literally, so what? Does he potentially hook up with someone in the ward? Like, when she goes into his room and he's like, oh, you should have been here earlier. I was with someone.
Literally, he was on top of someone.
Yeah.
And then the girl's like,
oh, like, yeah, that's later on. Yeah, that's when she breaks into his, like, house, apartment. And, yeah, he's, like, hooking up with this other girl. And then he's like, do you want to join in? And then he, like, kicks the girl out. But it's like, okay, like, you've literally just watched him grab someone else's ass. This is very non-MMC. Then he's like a regular at the brothel. Okay, he just gets drinks there. Just drinks.
Yeah.
Doesn't go upstairs, apparently. I'm just like, unless this writer is a dark spice romance writer and like they're all down for this is not typical romantasy MMC material at all. Very, like, I don't know, he's just very, very sexually driven. And whereas like Kane, even though Kane does hint at like having some things behind the scenes and stuff, we always see him actually being pretty loyal to Ren. Like, always there for her, always emotionally there for her, not wanting to leave when he knows she's upset. Like, he genuinely cares about her. And that's why I'm kind of softening to old Kane. I'm like, yes, bring me some helicopter hotshot pilot.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's right. I can sit here in my own little bubble. I don't need people to be here with me. I'm just going to sit here on my own and be proud of it. So, okay, this is another thing that we found really, really frustrating. Why the fuck did she heal her scar?
Oh my God, you just ruined your life. Like, it is the one fucking thing that you did properly by removing, and you were in massive pain, and your uncle did you a favor, and you said, I hated him for a minute when I was young, but then I get it now. Why the fuck would you put it back? 3 seconds later, they see it, and your best friend throws you
under
to the
bus.
Sharks. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It
makes no sense. And she also even went through the first time when they were going to heal it, and she's like, no, don't. Like, it's what defines me as a person, and it tells my story.
That's
and
right,
the next thing she's like, oh my gosh, Cross, guess what? I removed the scars. And you're like, why?
Was it to prove something to him?
It was to prove, like, her love for him or her trust for him or something like that. It's like, oh, I trust you. And it's like, yeah, what about everyone else? What about everyone else? You have to...
He's covered up his. Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he's trying to hide what he is. Why wouldn't he want her to hide it?
Oh, did he cover his up?
Isn't that why he's got tats everywhere?
Because I was always wondering. I was like, does he have one? Like, and because also does he, like, because I don't think he has veins either, does he? Like,
no.
But then she's also explaining that. That's actually something that's never confirmed. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I thought that's why he had the tats, but maybe it was the veins as well. No, because you can see veins everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's why he has the tats, I'm pretty sure, because that's where his mark was. Or he had to burn it out of himself or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
How do his mum and dad not know? Like, at what age does the burn come through?
Yeah.
And did he just hide himself from then? You're not born with it, are you?
Well, I think the same as her, like, he kind of had it happen spontaneously at like that 6 to 8, and he says in it that no one knows, only he knows. So whether he has just hidden himself in rooms every time it's happened, and he's just like hidden himself in a closet or something and has talked to her, and he said he's only ever talked to her, he's never done it with anyone else. That's it.
Okay.
So as far as we know. So yeah, I don't think in both my reads, I haven't confirmed that he has a blood mark. I don't even know whether his veins light up or not. I don't know whether I've just missed it or we don't actually get that information, but she does talk to him about how some mods don't actually have the light up veins. So I'm feeling like if she did that, that would suggest that he had light up veins. But then I don't think she ever describes him as having light up veins. So it's, yeah.
That was the dumbest fucking thing in the world.
It's a really bad decision.
Like,
And then Liddy, dobbing her in.
2 seconds later. Like,
So nasty.
Yeah.
So nasty.
you're a dick, Liddy.
Yeah. That was just
Thanks
so
for the good
mean.
times.
All right. What is your theories on why Ren has no shimmer in her veins? I call it shimmer, I don't know, light up veins. Do you think there's any reason?
I think it might have something to do with the being powerful.
Mm-hmm.
She's such a powerful. What are they?
Yeah.
She's
Mod.
Yeah.
Aberranth.
Yeah. She's such a powerful mod that they just don't appear. I don't think we've actually seen how powerful she is.
No way.
So I honestly think the most powerful ones don't have the shimmer visible. So we're about to see a whole heap of them that have actually been living with just out in the open.
Yeah.
And
so you think there's going to be a fair few more?
I think there's going to be heaps.
Yeah. I think she's going to be the head honcho, most powerful. She absolutely annihilated. Was it Jade? Jade, I think the one that was had the blood mark on the cheek, and she was known as being so powerful, and she had no issues overpowering her. No, at all.
No, exactly. Yeah, so I think she's super powerful.
And she's also said she's got 4 powers, but she may have more. I wonder whether she's also going to have that power to, mess with people's minds. Maybe she'll have the power to heal that from happening. Well, yeah, actually he said Mum's so much calmer when you're here, which was maybe interesting. But I wonder if she's going to have, because they don't understand the power where people can scramble people's brains. What if she has the reverse power of that, where she can actually heal it? Because she's always oh, it's a shame I don't have the healing power. That's such a useful power.
Makes sense. That's why the mum gets calmer. Poor mum.
I know.
Living with that man and...
I know.
Just locked up in a room.
Yes. Have you got any thoughts on her parents, on Ren's parents?
I was actually shocked at the fact that they were in the rebellion and then the uncle said that they were traitors of the rebellion. So,
yeah.
Or was it the other way around?
No, they were, I think, working in the Silver Elite and all that. I think one of them was in Tin Block or whatever they're called, and the other one was, I don't know, in intelligence or something, but they were working for the rebellion. But then, of course, we get the big shock at the end where we find out that they weren't even working for the rebellion. They were working completely on their own. I think we get an indication Mum is from Tirafay, and there was a lot of discussion in a particular chapter where they're just in passing talking about this Tirafay and how they do have agreements with the continent or whatever they're called, but they are very disconnected. A lot of produce and that comes from there. A lot of drugs come from there, but they will not even let people step on land there. If you rock up in a boat, they don't even let you on the land. So I'm oh, what is going on now? Her mum is from Tirafay. So what is the bet that Tirafay is brimming with mods of all different powers?
Obviously. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got to be. And then they're just putting people over there, and then that's why they're kind of infiltrating both sides of the war. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I think Tirafay is going to be a huge place to explore in the next book or even the book after. Obviously, the rebels are just beyond the Blacklands. That's where they're kind of situated. I have no idea. Do we have a map? I don't think we have. Oh, no, actually, I haven't checked. Is there a map in here about what it looks like? Yeah, it probably is because I didn't read it. Ooh, map. All right. So I'm wondering where. Okay, so the Blacklands are more away from Tirafay's all the way down here, and she's just gone up to just beyond the Blacklands is where that where the rebels are housed. So they're not connected. I think it's going to be really, really interesting what's going to happen. Yeah. All right. Very, very interesting. There's also the religious groups. We hear about these religious people that live free because obviously religion's been really shunned in this society. Yeah. They're nah, we don't agree with religion. So I think the religious people have all gone and they're living free in their own camps and they move around and they say you can't even find them because when people have gone to try and find them, they've just found dead bodies weeks, months later. So have you got any thoughts on the religious the religious groups at all? Or
I just think, like, with all the parts, with everyone going everywhere, it's just going to be interesting to see. And I think that's when we'll see all of it in book 2 and where everyone fits.
yeah.
Yeah, because, yeah, the religious groups, that was an odd one to me.
Yeah.
Throwing in a whole different element
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. We've just had, I feel like she has laid all these little Easter eggs about different things, about Tira Fey, about these religious camps,
Yeah.
about, obviously there's the rebels. We kind of know that Ren's parents were against the rebels, so were they kind of more connected to the religious? Were they connected to Tira Fey? There's also there's like a guy who she claims is pretty good looking, and he is neither with the rebels or the continent, and he's like doing all the drug deals and all that sort of stuff. I can't remember what his name is, but he was another character that I think we should just keep an eye on. Also noted as being very good looking. Maybe could be this additional love interest that we're talking about. He's not affiliated with anyone, very cheeky drug dealer sorts. So
I think that's what she's doing. Just lots of little bits.
Yeah,
Again,
we haven't I don't even think we've scratched the surface of where this book is actually going to go. No. It's going to get so much deeper.
Yeah. So is this the build up, what we would call like the world building book, even though it went bang, bang, bang straight away, but we've gotten to know like all these different groups and how they kind of come along, and then the mind talking, and then book 2 is going to be like,
I think it's
here you go.
Exactly. I think it's going to be a little bit like Fourth Wing, where we got that introduction and then the next book just expands the whole world to the next level. So I think that's what we're going to do. We've had little introductions of things, but it's mainly just kept us busy with her just like getting through the boot camp and surviving and getting into Silver Elite, and then the romance between her and Cross Wolf. But we didn't get a lot of exploration into that bigger world. I think the next one, obviously now, we're going to be starting to explore the whole world and the bigger story and what's really going on.
Yeah.
And we know that Dani Francis has been contracted for 3 books. But then, of course, that's just contracted. She may have plans for like 5. It might be more than that. It probably depends how popular it is and where it goes from here. Okay. Have you got any thoughts on, so we kind of spoke a little bit about this, but we'll go into it again. Adrian, and how at the end of the book, Adrian destroys like the Emperor General's brain, completely scrambles it.
Yeah.
And that's like obviously a new power that we get introduced to at that particular time. And that was also just after Jade had been saying, you're actually fighting on the wrong side. If you knew what they were doing, you would actually be on this side, because they are scrambling people's brains. They're destroying them.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
So did she do that to the mum?
We think yes. Yeah. And that's what she actually says that to Wolf later. She says, I think that's what happened to your mum. I think your mum's brain's been scrambled. So the mum wasn't actually aberrant. She was just brain scrambled. Pretty bad.
I don't like that. I really didn't. I really read that and just went, oh, I don't like that you're doing that to everyone. In terms of theories, I don't actually have any. She's just a badass bitch, and it's not nice.
No.
She's not nice. And it kind of makes sense that the rebels aren't good.
Yeah, the rebels are assholes.
Yeah.
Like, how many times is she like, can you please rescue us? And it's like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
It's only like once she's a benefit to them that we're like, okay, we're gonna assist you a little bit. Like, that is literally all they do. They're very selfish. I know they might be small and they don't have a lot of ability to do stuff. I feel like the only person I like in it is Kane. And I'm going to be very interested to see that unfold. And that's where Kane might not be the right love interest for her either, because he might be super loyal to the rebels, and then she's going to be like, I don't like these guys either. So it's where does he fall into all this as well?
Like, he could even be a double agent. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like both sides are not good.
He spoke about, at one stage, just in passing, he talks about, I think she's never flown on a plane before. I think that's what happens. And he says, because she's never used the Lux credits, and he's like, oh, my mum always used to take us to this island. We always went to this island. Now, we could probably have a look at that map and try and figure out where he was being taken and whether that is a very important little island that we should be paying attention to. But it's just said in passing.
To where Ren's mum is from.
Oh my God, that would be crazy if, like...
Yep.
Wait, would that mean that? Okay. As long as they're not related. That's all.
No. I think that he is probably a double, just like her parents were, but they're just trying to figure out how bad it is because maybe everyone that's over there, which are mods, and they've got their shit together, and that's why they don't let anyone from that continent come over to their land. They're actually preparing to come over and.
I love that. Love that so much. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited also to see that Dani Francis is already writing this. Like, they've already released some snippets of, like, the beginning of book 2. And I'm like, yes, it's already being written.
Yeah.
Because we're in this space right now where we are just waiting endlessly for, like, ACOTAR 5. And we are on an endless wait for the next Fourth Wing because she's having a break. And so we're just in this painful waiting phase. It's so nice to see a book where it's, like, already being written, like, will hopefully get delivered not ages away.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't even care if it's a little bit lighter in quality because I'm just like, I'm so tired of having to wait so long that I kind of lose interest in the book. I actually just want it to be delivered while I'm all excited. Like, that was the best thing I think about Fourth Wing was, I know this was super hard on Rebecca, but the way that she delivered Fourth Wing and Iron Flame within 6 months of each other, I don't think it was that. I think it was 4.
What? Was it that quick?
It was really quick. Yeah.
I thought I was just way behind because I read
it was
Fourth Wing and then it
amazing.
literally, that was in the September, and then by the December, I was like, oh, so I was only a few months behind. I thought I was like a whole year behind.
No,
Oh my
it was
God.
like it dropped really quickly afterwards, and it was amazing because
really was.
she had a really
That's
quick
awesome.
change, and that was why I had all these theories that maybe Sarah J. Maas was going to do the same because it was so successful. The way that everyone got into this frenzy over Fourth Wing, and then second book drops within 6 months, just everyone went feral, and it was like surely other authors are going to realize, doing them back to back is so good.
Yeah.
Like, just do it because I really hope Sarah is just like writing up like 3 books, so she's just going to be like bang bang bang, there you go. The reason I took ages was because I was actually writing like 3 all at once so I can bang them out in quick succession. I know I'm not going to be right on that, but that's what I would like to say. All right, I don't think I've got too many other things to really go over.
No, we seem to be going over all the questions just in one.
I know. Well, probably the last thing was Ivy. Ivy was a very interesting character. I don't know if you remember her, but like she was the one that obviously had been with Cross in the past. And
that's right.
when like she was always a bit not nice, but then they did get through like when they kind of got tortured for 5 days, she actually was quite helpful. And she didn't blab on Ren when she found out that she had the blood mark. She didn't actually, like, initially Ren thought it was going to be her, and then we found out it was Liddy who did it. So she was actually keeping secrets. So I find Ivy actually quite interesting. And I wonder whether she maybe knew more about Cross than we know, like whether she actually had sussed that he might be a mod, or she's just keeping secrets. I don't know.
Maybe she is.
Yeah.
Maybe she understands it a bit more. That's why she didn't run off.
I don't know. She is she's just one I'm going to watch because I think she's interesting, and I think she might end up being more of a friend maybe to Ren than we think. I'm still so upset at Liddy. Like, that was such a bitchy move.
It really was. That was
lack of girl power. I'm just so upset. Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've pretty much covered most of it, most of my theories, most of our issues with Cross, with like, I want to say that I'm here and I'm like, oh my God, I love him so much. He's awesome. And apart from him just ticking all those typical MMC boxes, I still didn't feel great about it. Even just here, I've got abuse of power. And I'm like, he was in a position of power. He very much took advantage of that with her. And that kind of even just, I mean, normally I'm okay with it. I'm like, okay. It's like the professor and the student kind of situation.
Yeah.
I've done, books that's been absolutely fine. But for some reason, I'm just not fully. Oh my God, we didn't talk about Ro, the asshole Ro.
Brother.
Yeah.
The little brother. He's fucked. He's not okay. He's a psychopath.
He's an absolute psycho. And he's doing drugs every other day. And then he just comes out and just like kills everyone. He kills Betama. He just like he goes to pretty much try and kill Ren, but is stopped because he's told he has to do it properly. And he's just totally unhinged. Yeah. I think like for about 0.5 of a second, I wondered if he was going to be the real love interest. Now I was like, oh no, he's psycho. Yeah, no, we don't like him.
He was proper psychotic. Like, had to prove that he was, one of the sons as well. Typical.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, daddy issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, gross.
Yeah.
It
No,
was gross.
absolutely. All right. Did we summarize what do you theorize is maybe going to happen in the next book? What do you think we're maybe going to get next?
Now I feel like Kane's a double agent.
Yeah.
Big time. And I think the love triangle's going to happen. I don't think Cross's Wolf is endgame at all. I think it's either Kane or Xavier. She's going to learn a lot more about her parents, and she might be like a bit pissed off right now.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to fully understand. And Mum's from that other island.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more about that island now that you've said that.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's going to be heaps going with Tira Fey. As you said, there's this island that we heard about. I think we're definitely going to get an expansion of the world. We're obviously going to have her now being with the rebels. I think she's going to get the rebel side of it now. We're going to get a heap of story about that. Obviously, a lot of development. Kane's going to come in 110%. He is interested in her. So even if it doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't have to contend with Cross anymore in real life. So I think he's really going to be all into building it. I think it's going to be very interesting how Ren explores that now that she doesn't just have all that sexual chemistry distracting her, whether that makes her feel differently towards Kane or to Xavier or to others as well. And I think she's going to start to remember who she is and why and what she's working towards. I think we're going to see that growth, because what we need in this world is the mods right now are being treated really, really badly. And we need the rebels to actually come through and actually really create change. But right now, the way the rebels are working, they're almost as bad as the guys in charge. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Ren starts to build a crew around her. And I feel like by the end of this book, Ren was sort of saying, I don't really have anyone here except for Cross. Kane had been gone. Liddy completely changed. And then Liddy turned into an asshole. She literally had no one else. Like, Ivy would be the next person.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Like, she had no one to turn to, no connections there. So she really needs a bit of a found family. Like, she's very lonely at this point. She 100% needs found family.
Yeah.
Oh, and I hope she gets that so much. So yeah, that's kind of my theory. I think we're going to get a massive expansion of this world. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm hoping it levels up massively, massively. And whether that will give us more of an indication of who this author is, we'll just have to wait and see. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. Please share your ideas, thoughts, questions in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye.